Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhirbhavatu me sada yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagartha Viva Samprikto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagadav Pitarau Vyande Parvati Parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om. Okay, namaste everyone. So I'll share my screen with you. So as just for our for the sake of repetition and for the sake of clarity, let's go through our abhyasa or repetition. So first, in a sentence is called a vakyam, right? Vakyam are made up of padani, padam or padani, right? Words. Now there's two types of words. There's tinganta padam and subantam padam. Let's focus in on tinganta padam. Tinganta padam is made up of dhatuhu plus ting pratyaya. Dhatuhu specifically, we can look at gana 1 through 10 and 3 types, P, A, or U. And then when we look at ting pratyaya, we have to remember lakara, which gives us tense, and also prayoga, also which comes from lakara, but prayoga, so passive voice or active voice. Purushaha, so how third person, second person, third person, and vachanam, ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam. So this tree that we made is basically what we're doing on the screen. We're giving all the details, but we have to remember the structure. So, you know, it seems like a lot of information, but if we remember basically dhatu and ting pratyaya, but dhatu gives a certain amount of information and ting pratyaya gives us a certain amount of information. So we can divide it like that so that we can remember all of these things that come into here. And why this is important is because the verb is the main part of the sentence. Soon we're going to start talking about nouns, and nouns only get meaning based on their relationship to the verb. So we really want to understand the verb and whether it's in passive voice or active voice, whether it's kartari prayoga or karmani prayoga, right? Because then that will change the structure of the sentence. So on the screen, we have some verbs. I put tushyanti, ichchati, and nyayate. These were a little bit difficult ones, but so I gave you some clues in the chat. So tushyati, right? So tushyati is tush dhatu, 4p, to please. Okay, we notice that it's 4p. That's important for us to know. Lakara, lat lakaraha, and is it kartari or karmani prayoga? Can you tell me in the chat, is it kartari or karmani prayoga? Okay, so we're getting some answers. Yeah, so we're getting a few answers and they all are saying kartari prayoga, active voice. The reason we know it's active voice and not passive voice, right? Passive voice has two indicators. it has a yakara, and it has atmanepada type suffix. Okay, here we do have a yakara, so that gets a check. But does it have atmanepada suffix? No, right? It has e instead of a. E is parasmaipada. All the a's are atmanepada. You can remember a atmanepada, right? Atmanepada. Okay. So we know that this is the active voice. So devaha tushyanti. So the devas please. They please something. Okay, number 12, ichchati. Ish dhatu. Ish dhatu. Ish dhatu is 6p. It means to desire or to wish. We're in present tense, lat lakaraha. We're in active voice, kartari prayoga, because we see parasmaipada. It is pratama purusha, ekavachanam. I think I said, so tushyanti was bahuvachanam. I hope I said that correctly. Tushyanti is bahuvachanam, ichchati is ekavachanam. So jiva desires. The individual desires. Next one, bedaha nyayante. Bedaha nyayate. So nyadatu we haven't actually looked at. Nyadatu is 9p. Okay, 9p, to know. To know. It's lat lakaraha and karmani prayoga. Karmani prayoga because we have the dhatu as it is, we have yakara, and we have atmanepada type suffix, right? All those indicators are there. So we can say it's passive voice. Pratama purusha ekavachanam. Beda means differences. So the differences are known. Differences are known. Differences between kartari and karmani prayoga should be known. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions in the chat. So I know some people are new, and I can send you, or you can look over the videos on karmani and kartari prayoga. Karmani we haven't done that long ago, so that should be there pretty recently. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is if you can open your textbook 1 to page 40, page 40. Textbook 1 on page 40, and you'll see this up on the screen, astistaha santi. So now this is one of the last things before we move on to nouns. So this is our last round with verbs, basically. Last thing we're going to do with verbs, which is pretty exciting. So now, in present tense, kartari prayoga, there's some common dhatus which we see in Vedanta and we see in Sanskrit. We see these verbs very, very commonly. And so these are some that we should get more familiar with. Now, the reason that they're treated separately is because they're in different ganas. Like we only learn first, fourth, and sixth gana of dhatus. These are like second gana and eighth gana. They have a little bit of variation to what we already know. And so these ones we just have to get familiar with. There's not much, there's not really much purpose of understanding how to put it together in a detailed form. Really, we just have to, because the sutras and all the way of forming these verbs are quite complex. So it's a better usage of time of just getting familiar what's on the page. Now it's going to look overwhelming. So what we really want to focus on is on the corners of the chart. Okay. So what I mean by the corners of the chart is we should really focus on all four corners of the chart. Okay. If you know these, that's good enough. Okay. You don't need to know all 9 forms. If you know 4, that's great. Now let's say even if you want to be more lazy, if you know the first 2 on Pratama Purusha, Ekavachanam and Bahuvachanam, good. And if you even have less capacity, then at least know this one right here. This is the most important one in the top left. Reason why I'm saying is you don't see Dvivachanam very much, and you don't see Madhyama Purusha very much in the Shastra, in our scriptures. You don't see them very much. So that's why I'm saying the corners are more important. So what you can do is you can open your workbook also to page 42. If you have a workbook to page 42, workbook to page 42, there you'll see this, what's on the screen. And I'm gonna share a camera with you. So what we'll do is we'll start writing some of these. And for the sake of time, maybe we won't write all of them, but we'll just write parts of them. So let me share my camera with you, and then you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is as dhatu 2p in lat lakara, so present tense, and karti prayoga, active voice. So we'll just fill out the top. We'll just say eka, dvi, and bahu vachanam. That's a shorthand. We really want to write the whole thing, but just for sake of time. And we have prathama purusha, madhyama purusha, and uttama purusha. So prathama purusha ekavachanam for as dhatu is asti. So this is the most simple. You must have heard this a lot of times. Right? This is very, very common. You'll see asti. Asti is from us, to be to p, meaning he is or it is. Okay, let's do the corners first. Pratama Purusha Bahuvachanam. Santi. They all are. Okay, Uttama Purusha Ekavachanam. Asmi. I am. Aham Brahmasmi. We hear that in Vedanta. Brahmasmi, Brahma Asmi. I am Brahman. And Smaha. We all are. Okay, so repeat after me. Asti. Santi. Asmi. And Smaha. Okay, now I'm going to include one more for this one. So Asi. We do see this in Tat Tvamasi. Asi. This is where Tat in the Mahavakya, in that great sentence, Tat Tvamasi, you get you are, right? You are that limitless Brahman. Tat Tvamasi. Okay, the rest you're going to fill out for homework, okay? So the rest you're going to fill out for homework. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to Kru Dhatu. And let me know if I need to make my screen bigger if you can't see very well. So someone says on the top, it says us bhuvi. As is bhuvi another word meaning same as? Yeah. So this is in the dhatu pataha. So in the dictionary of dhatus, this is the original dhatu, and then the Sanskrit meaning is given next to it. So bhuvi means to be. So really what they given is the original dhatu and the meaning. So us, bhuvi, is us to be. So this is from bhu dhatu. And sometimes you get extra marks, and that tells you often how you chant it, for example. So because all these dhatus used to be memorized and chanted, so sometimes there's extra markings for that. And sometimes those extra diacritical marks or things like that gave often told you which gana it would be in. But now we've kind of lost that knowledge of what exactly all the diacritical marks and for example, the Chandra Bindu here on the us, what that exactly means, I'm not particularly sure. I've never really heard of that. Here we have kridatu, to do. You see the definition, dukrin karane. If you studied Bhaja Govindam, in the text Bhaja Govindam, you'll see this. Dukrin Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Yeah, okay, not going to get into that. Different class. Kridatu, to do, 8u in lat present tense, active voice, karti prayoga. Since kru is type u, ubayapadi, that means there's two forms, one with parasmay pada and other with atmane pada. So you see how this chart is so big. So we need to split it up between parasmay padani padani because plural, right? There's multiple. But you can do parasmay pada, either one. And atmane padani. Because it's you, ubaya pada can be in either, it can take p suffixes or it can take a suffixes. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of shorthand. Okay, so if I'm doing kridatu in pratama purushaha ekavachanam, we know it's karoti. Karoti. Karoti, he does. If you can fit it in, you can write also the definition. Right? Karoti. Pratama Purusha, Bahuvachanam is, oh, sorry, that's not very neat. You can see it in your book also, but Kurvanti. They do. Kurvanti. So again, another very common, you'll see this very commonly. Karoti and kurvanti. Karomi is Uttama Purusha, Ekavachanam, I do. Idam karma karomi. So I do this karma. And then kurma. This is not like the sabji kurma. This is not navratan kurma. This is a verb, first person plural, meaning we do. Okay, so you can repeat after me. Karoti, kurvanti, karomi, kurmaha. Okay, going back. Asti, santi, asmi, smaha, karoti, kurvanti, karomi, kurmaha. Right, we're gonna try to memorize these, okay? Next one. Now, this is the Atmane Pada type of this Kr dhatu. You'll see kurute, he does, kurvate, notice when I'm writing, the way I write might not be exactly the same as you write, as in the the order of markings. And that's okay. Um, you don't need to change to follow how I'm writing it exactly, because I learned in my own way. So kurve, I do, and kurmahe. Okay, so kurute, he does. Kurvate, they do. Oh, sorry, it's kurvate. Sorry. Is this correct? Yeah, kurvate. Sorry. There's one, I added one extra marking here, if you notice. Kurvate, so kurute, kurvate, kurve, and kurmahe. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Karoti, kurvanti, karomi, kurmaha, kurute, kurvate, kurve, kurmahe. Okay, you have to say this like you're a big Sanskrit pandita. You have to say it very loud. Like you're a learned person of Sanskrit, you have to just say it very, very loudly. So someone said, is it kurvante? No, there's no nakara in, so it's a little bit different. It's kurvate. It's not incorrect. There's no nakara there. Okay, let's do one more. Let's go to janati. Maybe if we have time, yeah, we'll just do one more and then we'll switch topics. We'll do janati and then we'll stop there. Okay, so this is nyadatu, to know, 9p, in lat, in present tense, kartari prayoga, active voice. So, janati, aham janati. No, saha janati. He knows, not aham. He knows. Jananti. So notice how nya becomes jan. Okay, nya becomes jan. Janati, jananti. Janami. I know. And Janimaha. We know. Okay, so you can repeat after me. Janati, Jananti, Janami, Janimaha. Okay, now we can remember. So with as dhatu, asti, santi, asmi, and smaha. Okay, then kru dhatu, karoti, kurvanti, karomi, and kurmaha. I couldn't remember that one. Kurmaha, so I need practice too. Then kurute, kurvate, kurve, and kurmahe. And then this last one. Janati, jananti, janami, janimaha. So these are some that we can become familiar with. So your homework is to become more familiar with these three and fill out all the rest of the blanks of the charts that we just, the three charts. So it won't take very long because we did half of it already. Okay, so we have a few more minutes. Let's switch topics. So those are some verbs that are very common. So that's why we were doing those. But let's switch topics to something a little bit different. Let's enter into nouns. We're going to skip the topic 6. Topic 6 is verbs in different tenses. Hariprasad ji, you have a question?
A quick question.
Yeah.
As dhatu is both 2p and 4p, right?
As dhatu is 2p, yeah, and 4p, correct.
And 4p, okay.
But the meanings are different. 4p means to throw.
Oh, correct, okay.
Asyati, yeah,
Okay.
it would be like that, and this would be asti.
Okay, thank you.
So notice, right, remember, there's only 2 types of words in Sanskrit. There's verbs and there's nouns. So now we'll start entering into nouns. The topic before this, topic 6, is verbs in different tenses. And that will be useful eventually, but it's just a lot of memorizing. So it's not as, I don't think it's as useful of our time right now. It's something that we can memorize at a later period of time. So I think let's get into the concept of nouns, subantam. So this is exciting because there's only 2 types, right, of words. So now you can flip in your book. This is also in your workbook. So I'll tell you where it's in your workbook. Page 58 of the workbook, the concept of noun, you'll see it there. Page 58 of your workbook. And page 67 of your book 1. Okay, so again, page 67 of book 1 and page 58 of the workbook. 67 and 58. Okay, so there's only those 2 types of words, and in a sentence, there will always be a verb, either implied or it will be visible there. And all the rest of the words will be nouns usually, and those nouns will be meaningfully connected to the verb. And right, let's fill in the blanks. So a noun is called subantam padam. Right, we can write subantam. is made up of a nominal base, and this nominal base is called I should really just type it. I forgot about typing. Pratipadikam. And the nominal suffix is what we call sup pratyaya. Okay, so Subandam is made up of these two parts, apratipadikam and sup pratyaya. So repeat after me, pratipadikam, pratipadikam. And that's going to be our base of the word. And then to that, we add a suffix called sup pratyayaha. Sup pratyayaha. Now we know why it's called sub antam. Because of a sandhi rule, it should be sup antam, but because of a sandhi rule, it becomes subantam. But anta means ending with what? It ends with sup. Because it ends with sup, we call it a subantam. Okay, that pa becomes bakara because of a sandhi rule. Okay. So now that's why it's called subantam, because it always ends with that sup pratyaya. A pratipadika indicates a person, for example, Rama, or a thing. It can be like a tree, vriksha. It can be a person, or it can be a thing, an object. Right? And the suffix indicates how that person or object is connected to the verb. How that thing is connected to the verb. So you can write all this in your workbook. There's some room there. So sup pratyaya tells how that object is connected to the verb. Right? So there's those two parts there. Now, this addition that we're doing of adding a pratipadika and a sup pratyaya is what we call declension of nouns. Okay, you see on the screen declension. That word is really important. Declension. Declension means adding a sup pratyaya to a pratipadika. That addition is what we will call as declension from now on. So when I say decline the noun, when I say decline it, what I mean by decline it is add all the different suffixes to that nominal base, to that pratipadikam. So you're going to add different suffixes to a pratipadikam, and you're going to make so many different forms. Oops. So we're going to wrap up, but just to so you see what it looks like. Here's the pratipadikam on the left side, and here's all the sup pratyayas. There's 21 of them. And when I add these two together, called declension or declining, then I get these 21 forms. Ramha, Ramo, Ramaha, etc. Okay, we'll end there, and we'll pick up, we'll do some more common verbs next time, and we'll continue from this on nouns. So and your homework is just finishing what we didn't in the workbook. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break to 8:11, and then let me know if you have any questions or anything in the chat. I'm still here, just turning off my camera.